What up, movie lovers? Welcome back again to Apocaflix Movies. This is our movie news podcast, and I'm your host, Jacob Bartley. I'm back again with Gio Ramos, as always. What's going on, man?
Doing good. Just ready to talk some movies. Rest in peace to Prince. I want to say that real quick.
Yes. I'm also here with Jake Berlin, as always. How you doing, man?
Good. Day off, raining outside.
Oh,
a little
nice.
bit of a lazy day, so I'm here. Glad to be talking.
Yeah, it's rainy here in Sacramento. Jake doesn't have to go to baseball, so we're recording a little bit later. And I have one question: are there any trailers that dropped this week? I'm really curious.
Well, if we were to count them and all the ones we're covering, there are 7 that we're covering.
Yeah, there's so many that we took a couple out to review them separately from movie news to keep it from being so long. And they're worthy of getting.
And if I'm correct, they all came out within the last 3 days.
Yeah, it's insane. We're starting to get to that time of year, man, where good movies are going to start coming out. So, anyways, with that being said, for those of you who don't know how this works, Gio Ramos gathers the movie notes for us, and he picks, the biggest topics to talk about throughout the week. And Gio, what do we got first?
Well, you know his name. The first full-length trailer for Jason Bourne has dropped, and the trailer looks great, doesn't it, Jacob? Go ahead and take it away.
It looks good, I would say. Now, I've said this before. I like the Bourne movies. It's not my favorite franchise, And same with Matt Damon. I like Matt Damon. He's not my favorite actor, but I will not deny he's one of the greatest actors in the past 20 years. I like the trailer a lot. The thing that gets me excited for it is we don't get a lot of good or great straight-up action films anymore. Aside from it being a continuation of the Bourne franchise, I'm just excited to see a possibly great action spy film that's not in the superhero genre. I'm just talking about straight action. Like no fantastical elements or any sci-fi or anything. So I'm excited from that point of view. The trailer looks great. My favorite shot, which we've seen before, is when he punches that guy in the face and just knocks him out. But it looks very interesting. I'm glad to see Alicia Vikander in there. She's amazing. I'm curious what her role is. I mean, I thought maybe she was going to be a love interest or something, but I'm glad. I mean, we don't know if she's going to be or not, but she's chasing him down, it looks like, right?
Yeah, she's, if I'm correct, you've only seen Ultimatum, right?
No, I've seen all of them.
Oh, you have?
But
okay.
The first 3 when I was very young, I haven't revisited them since I've been an adult. But I did like Ultimatum.
So throughout the movies, there's always this
someone chasing them, right?
Yeah, but it always seems like they're always sitting in the same room. It always looks like they're the same room, just different people. But she looks like she's part of the group that's trying to find him and bring him in because kind of like a CIA operation, but they're not the.
I
CIA.
like the trailer. It didn't blow me away or anything. But Jake, you are a huge fan of this franchise. So how did you feel about it?
I'm over the moon excited for this.
Nice.
Wasn't
this in both of your top 10 and most anticipated?
Yeah, and it's just I liked the Bourne Legacy with Jeremy Renner, and I thought it was fun, a different kind of take on the Bourne franchise. But Ultimatum to me is one of the greatest action movies ever made. I thought it was just flawless, and to see Paul Greengrass and Matt Damon come back is just so cool. Matt Damon he said before he came on, he's not going to come back unless Paul Greengrass comes back, and I just have all the confidence in the world in him. The trailer's really cool. There's some, like you said, they don't show a ton of action sequences. They kind of hold back, which I like because I don't want to see anything. I like seeing Alicia Vikander in there. She's obviously one of the greats right now. Tommy Lee, man, seeing him in there. Vincent Cassel as the villain is going to be really cool.
Is Tommy Lee new to the franchise or
he's new.
Okay.
Everybody in this but Matt Damon and Julia Stiles.
Julia Stiles, I was going to say.
Yeah, Julia. I love seeing her come back. She was a huge part of the originals.
I mean, it's a callback for the fans. And who knows how important her character is going to be too.
Yeah, so I mean, it looks like a fun time. I'm very interested to see how they end up in Vegas. That's going to be very interesting to see everything go down on the Strip. But as for the trailer, I was really hoping to get that original Bourne score in the trailer, like the TV spot had during the Super Bowl. But they played with a different music tone, which I still liked. But I feel like for a second trailer, if they drop that score, it's just gonna get me that much more excited. But I'm full in. So.
I like the name of the film.
Jason, it's something new,
straightforward.
Yeah, I'll say that the marketing for Jason Bourne has been pretty self-aware. I mean, every poster has his name. Even the trailer had his name because we do know his name.
It's true.
Yeah, Jason Bourne is the ass kicker. Like you have your John Wicks and your Takens and all that, and they're great. But it all goes back to Matt Damon as Jason Bourne and seeing him back, and Paul Greengrass. You know that we're gonna get some next level fight sequences, and that kind of stuff, and we just want to see him kick ass. You guys are familiar with Vincent Cassel, right?
Yeah, he's
Trans.
What is it? Is he in Transpotting? No.
Well, he was in a movie Trance with James McAvoy.
Oh
That's where I know
yeah,
him from.
but he's also from the Ocean movies.
Yeah.
He's
Ocean's
the other
12.
burglar guy that goes up against him. Like I think it's Ocean's 12 and Ocean's 13.
Yeah.
Really cool. I'd like to see him. He's kind of like a Ben Mendelsohn where he gets a lot of smaller work, and now he's kind of coming in mainstream because he's a really good guy.
Yeah, really good indie actor. So, that's all I'll add to it. I'm very much looking forward to it, guys. And let's see, we got a second trailer for Warcraft has arrived. Duncan Jones leads the charge towards hopefully video games' first successful and great movie in Hollywood. So, I'll take this one because I'm pretty excited about this. Now, I was never a big Warcraft fan as far as playing the game goes, but I was always interested in them making an adaptation because this world is so vast. There's so much there, and I love that the trailers have been so far revealing everything slowly. Like first you have the humans and the orcs going to war. Okay, pretty simple. We've kind of seen that before, but in this latest trailer we saw a little bit of magic, a little bit of sorcery in there, and that's just a tipping point for what Warcraft is. I'm very much excited for it. I'm not too familiar with Duncan Jones, but I know his work and I know the success that it has had. So I'm very much looking forward to that. The effects, it's very fantasy-like, it's otherworldly. Some people will say like it looks weird. Well, it's supposed to, it's a video game adaptation. This is stuff that we're not supposed to be, seeing on the norm. So that was cool. And Jake, I know you're gonna talk a little bit about the music. For me, that worked. What about for you?
Yeah, I've been excited for Warcraft. I never played the game. I'm not huge on the fantasy genre. But, I was watching the trailer and, I was into it at first. And I love how, it kind of opens up with they're letting you know right away what the story is. And they say there's an invasion coming. And they kind of open up and more than the first trailer did for sure. But then, I just watched it again and I told you guys, as soon as that dubstep music comes on, I was full on board with it. It kind of just gets you into the movie, and I think it'd be so cool if it was in the actual movie. I doubt that'll happen, but the trailer's really cool, and there's some really cool action sequences, especially the one where it's the two orcs going at it hand to hand. I think it'd be sweet if we saw that for like a full sequence in the movie instead of just like a back and forth or whatever. It's like two Hulks going up against each other. You had mentioned the effects, and for me, like they didn't look all the way finished yet. And it like if I'm gonna go towards Lord of the Rings, it looked like it was more The Hobbit than Lord of the Rings, obviously, because the Lord of the Rings is more practical.
Right.
I would rather see it more towards Lord of the Rings. I'm not the biggest fan of the movies, but what those movies accomplish as far as effects go are it's phenomenal.
Well, I was gonna say I think they meant to do it more CGI, like because they want to separate themselves.
Well, you kind of have to too, like this kind of
Rings.
world.
Otherwise,
so.
you draw too much.
Well, it would be so hard to do practical with the orc, with these kind of orcs.
Yeah, because how
these are
big they are.
huge.
Yeah.
They're all like Hulk. Hulk massive. So it's not like the Lord of the Rings orcs were like human size,
Yeah.
So that was easier to do. I am actually I'm excited for this film. I really want it to succeed for no other reason than I want the video game, genre to, finally take a step forward in the right direction. And this is the first one we're getting in. When does Assassin's Creed come out? Later this year?
November, yeah.
So these are going to be the two tests, Are they going to succeed financially? Are they going to succeed critically? With that being said, I'm worried about this film for that reason because it has a lot riding on its back. And also I'm worried, like what you said, Jake, the CGI, I don't want it to be a CGI fest, which it looks like it is.
The Hobbit,
and to me, the CGI doesn't look that great, but maybe it'll look good on the big screen, but it does not look that great right now. And especially after seeing something like Jungle Book, I'm like, and it's unfair, but now my standards are so high for CGI. And it's like anything less than that, I'm like, it's not meeting up to what CGI should be. But it's all going to depend on the story. I can forgive the CGI if the movie's great and the CGI is not the best I've ever seen. I can forgive the CGI. But this trailer didn't do much to increase my excitement. I was already really looking forward to the film, and I really, really wanted to succeed. So don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on Warcraft or anything. I want it to succeed really, really bad, but this trailer didn't get me more excited. The music was cool, though. I will admit that.
Yeah, and how about the voice cast too? You got Ben Foster, Travis Fimmel plays one of the.
Well, are they
live-action
doing motion capture?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Toby Kebbell, you have
Kebbell,
Robert Krasinski, who was
13 Hours, right?
well, he was I think he was the guy that went up against Charlie Hunnam in Pacific Rim.
Oh,
His
okay.
rival. I think
okay.
that was him. I'm pretty sure that's him.
Yeah, so I mean, good trailer, guys. It has a lot going for it, and we'll see what happens come this June. So we also have a a teaser trailer for The Girl on the Train, based on the best-selling novel by Paula Hawkins, starring Emily Blunt, Luke Evans, Allison Janney, Rebecca Ferguson, and a few others. So I'm going to read a little bit about the story real quick, because this is a pretty big deal. Like, a lot of people are looking forward to this movie. In the thriller, Rachel, played by Emily Blunt, is devastated by her divorce. She spends her daily commute fantasizing about a seemingly perfect couple who lives in a house that her train passes every day, until one morning she sees something shocking happen there and becomes entangled in a mystery that unfolds. Jacob, you loved Gone Girl, another book to film adaptation. How does this one compare?
I haven't seen the movie yet, but
yeah.
I get the comparison to Gone Girl, but I think it's going to be very different as well. Everyone keeps saying that, comparing it to Gone Girl. But don't get me wrong, it's very similar. Like, if you can compare any two movies that have come out, in the last 3 years, it's going to be those two.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I'm very excited for this film because Gone Girl is actually in my top 10 films of all time. That's saying something. I mean, Fincher is one of my favorite directors of all time, so it's gonna have. I don't think it's gonna meet up to Gone Girl. If it does meet up to Gone Girl standards, that'll be crazy for me. So I'm very much looking forward to this film. The trailer's really good. The funny thing is, I don't know why they put that song in there.
Oh, I'm gonna say the same thing.
But here's the thing. I actually like the song. The original song is like one of my favorite hip hop songs of all time, actually. But I don't like that they put it in this trailer. To me, I want to take this movie seriously, and with that song, I didn't take it seriously. The trailer seriously. I mean, everything else was great in the trailer, but the song kind of took me out of it. Just hopefully the song's not in the movie, which would be weird. But it's weird because I love the song, but not for this trailer. But otherwise, man, this has moved up to, like, if I would have seen this trailer going into, the year, it would have been like a very high honorable mention on my most anticipated list. So I'm really looking forward to it no matter what, and especially great cast as well. So
yeah, the cast is crazy good. I mean, you have Haley Bennett in there as well, and Justin Theroux. But I'll be honest, I felt a little underwhelmed by the trailer, and maybe that's just me. Maybe thinking of it as another Gone Girl, because I think it's going to be this year's Gone Girl type story, mystery thriller, that kind of stuff. But it doesn't take away my excitement for the movie, because I know the book is highly loved by a lot of people. You guys know that Emily Blunt, she made my number one, and we did our favorite actresses of today. And so anything she does, I'm completely on board. And the mystery thriller type movie genre has kind of died off as of late. There's not as many. And Gone Girl, it's not in my top 10, but I absolutely love the movie. So for another movie to come out like it or similar is very exciting. And I hope there's twists and turns that makes you think. And but as for the trailer, it was a little underwhelming to me. I think the song may have to do with that. It kind of just took me out of it. I don't think it should have been there at all. It was a weird choice. But I'm still very much looking forward to the movie. I think it's going to be a movie that you're kind of into the entire time, kind of like a 10 Cloverfield Lane, where you're just like so into the story and what's going on and what's coming that you can't take your eye off the screen. But the trailer, it was so.
Yeah, for me, it felt a little bit too similar to Gone Girl. I mean, you have a music playing, you see a happy couple in the beginning, and then they show a montage of different scenes, of what's happening. She even gets asked, like, did you kill, the person? And then we also see like a shot of what looks like a dead body
Floating
in the rain. And I'm like, this is a little bit too much like Gone Girl, but it doesn't take away from, if there's a formula there, I guess, that Gone Girl took. You don't want to replicate it, but they did some things right with that movie, with as far as the adaptation goes. I love the cast, Emily Blunt, Rebecca Ferguson. I'm looking forward to seeing that. It's going to get compared to Gone Girl. It is. That's inevitable. When the movie comes out, it's going to get compared. They're two very similar books, stories, plot, that kind of stuff.
Well, I think that's unfair, actually.
That doesn't mean...
after you're done, I want to address that.
Yeah,
though.
And that doesn't mean they should be compared, but they are going to get compared. Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, just because we get so many similar type movies every year, and
especially this
the comic book genre is my favorite genre ever, hands down. And we get 7-8 comic book films a year, and they always get compared to each other.
Well, we just talked about
what
earlier.
Was the best comic book movie of the year?
We were talking about earlier. Civil War's not even out, but they're already comparing it.
Exactly.
To
So
Superman.
if we, it's not like, and Gone Girl and this movie aren't even coming out in the same year.
Yeah.
And people should be excited that we're getting another movie like Gone Girl, because Gone Girl came out in 2014, didn't even come out last year. So it's unfair that, for people to look at it negatively, like, oh, it's just another Gone Girl. We don't get a lot of these, psychological thriller type, like whodunit type movies anymore, done well.
Right.
So we should be excited and celebrating the fact that it's similar to a movie that most people loved, in my opinion.
All right. Well, you guys be sure to let us know what you think about this The Girl on the Train teaser trailer. Moving on, let's talk a little Bryan Cranston. The first trailer for Infiltrator came out. Cranston plays Robert Mazur, an FBI federal agent. Is it FBI or federal agent?
FBI is federal.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Anyways, he's assigned to go deep undercover with the goal of first infiltrating famed drug kingpin Pablo Escobar's inner circle, and then using that trust to bring his operation down from the inside. We all just saw the trailer. Jake, why don't you take this one off? What do you think about it?
I think it's great. Bryan Cranston is a guy who kind of is just like waiting to break out more. He's been around for so long. Obviously, he did Breaking Bad. People loved him as Heisenberg, and then he was in Godzilla. Had the unfortunate moment where he's killed off way too soon. Spoiler. And then he did the Trumbo last year, which was a smaller movie. He got nominated for an Oscar. The movie did really well for a small movie. It was in my top 10 of last year. So anything he does right now, I'm completely on board. He's such a great actor, and the story is so interesting. I'm so in, I said that war movies, sports movies, and true stories are I'm totally biased towards them. I'll watch anything on those. I'm a sucker for them, and I love that it's always Bryan Cranston, because he did Trumbo, it's based on a true story. The Infiltrator is based on a true story. The trailer is really cool. You see John Leguizamo in there. You see Diane Kruger, who's kind of popping back up now after a few years. Really cool cast. The story looks very interesting. It's back, set in the 70s or 80s or whatever it is. And but yeah, Bryan Cranston, man, anything he does, it's just why would you not want to see this guy on screen? So.
Yeah, I really liked the trailer. I saw it pop up on YouTube the other day, and I didn't watch it, but I watched it obviously before we did this podcast, and I was really blown away with it. I was telling you guys, this guy is a freaking movie star, man. He needs to be. It's tough when there's not a lot of roles for older men leading roles for older men in Hollywood, and this is the type of role that's perfect for him. He killed it in Trumbo. Breaking Bad is one of my favorite shows of all time, and most of it is due to his performance and his portrayal of Walter White, Heisenberg. So yeah, I am totally in for this, especially after seeing him, because a lot of people question, can he carry his own film? We saw that in Trumbo, which is a great film. He Oscar nominated. So yeah, I totally buy this trailer. I'm totally in. When does it come out? I don't even know the release date.
I think it's later this year. Pretty sure it's later this year.
Is it an Oscar bait type film?
I hope so, man. That'd be awesome.
He looks great.
Yeah, I think it will be. It's based on a true story. It's a crime drama, what looks like. And
maybe he'll be facing up against Michael Keaton.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Keaton, man. Yeah, but love the trailer. It's one of those things where a person may go too deep undercover and start affecting everything else that goes on in his life. John
Leguizamo?
Leguizamo, yeah.
Leguizamo,
like
is
that.
that how it's pronounced?
Yeah.
I think that guy's great, man. I loved him in Chef. He's also good in the John Wick movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You know what? He had a very small role, but he was one of the standouts to me in a movie that I didn't like that much. Was American Ultra.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that guy. Always looking forward to seeing him as well. And like you guys said, Bryan Cranston. The guy's amazing. A-list.
I think he should be. I mean, a lot of people probably wouldn't consider him that yet, but he should be for sure. Talent-wise, for sure.
Yeah, definitely talent-wise. How about the first trailer for The Founder, McDonald's?
Speaking of Michael
segue.
Keaton, right?
Michael Keaton plays Ray Kroc, the man who transforms a small chain of fast food restaurants into the multi-billion-dollar McDonald's corporation. Who here eats McDonald's, and what do you think of the trailer?
I like McDonald's breakfast a lot. It's funny. I like the trailer a lot. At a certain point, I even got the chills when one of his lines because he gives so much effort behind his performances, especially lately. Michael Keaton looks great. It's interesting. Like, it looks like McDonald's started out as like such an innovative idea because they wanted to have a restaurant where you can buy a burger in New York and then buy a burger in LA and it's going to taste the same no matter what. That was the philosophy behind it. And it seems like a great idea at first, but now look at what the fast food industry has adapted into. It's like the lower bottom of the food chain food. So it's kind of sucks that it has became that, but it looks like it started off as a great thing. So I'm interested to see how that became and how this guy, because he didn't invent McDonald's, but he founded the franchise of McDonald's. So I'm really curious to see, and he looks amazing. Michael Keaton looks amazing in this.
Yeah, big Keaton fan. Maybe they'll give him an Oscar for this one. But
and what the hell? He's not going to be in Spider-Man in Homecoming anymore?
No.
Unfortunately.
Oh boy, it's bad signs for that movie. Anyways,
nothing to do with it.
I love the true story aspect. It's going to be very tense. Michael Keaton can play a character that probably isn't going to be liked by many people, considering what he does in this movie, but it's a true story. Michael Keaton's a guy that just doesn't sign on to anything, clearly. But for this movie, I'm very interested in it. I've eaten so much McDonald's in my life. The McChickens are amazing. But Jake, what did you think about it?
Oh, I'm on board with you guys. It's phenomenal. There's so many great lines in the trailer. I love the one at the very end when they're talking about who owns McDonald's and whatnot. And he said, "You don't own McDonald's." He goes, "Are you sure?"
Yeah, exactly.
Because he now owns the land and whatnot. But his character, he looks like a dark kind of like grungy character.
Devious.
Yeah,
Devious.
which is very interesting because it's something we haven't seen Michael Keaton play in a while. And you may be able to argue Birdman in a way. His character kind of had a little bit of dark to him.
More of him struggling with himself.
Yeah, but as far as like to other characters, this is definitely something I love to see Keaton play. The guy is just like, as I said with Bryan Cranston, I'll watch anything he's in. Keaton's the guy right now, man. He's gotten nominated 2 years in a row. It looks like it's going to be a third year in a row. I'm bummed he's on Spider-Man, obviously, but the trailer looks really cool, and it's an interesting story. And you never would think that a movie on McDonald's will work, but it's like, what is the history of McDonald's? And like Jacob said, it looks like it started out as an innovative company and kind of grew into this monopoly in this worldwide empire. And it's going to be interesting to see how it all worked out and whether this guy kind of was only around for so many years, or if he became a huge part of its success in the future or whatever. But also, I have to mention the tagline where it says, it's founders keepers. Mm-hmm. It's really cool in the trailer. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
It's
I didn't
really
catch that.
cool. I paused it right now on the trailer, but it's there's some really cool things in the trailer, and it's gonna be a very different movie from anything we see. And again, it's another true story, so I'm definitely in.
All right. Well, let's move on to some news and not so much trailers.
That was all trailers. Wow, I told you.
Yeah, crazy.
I asked, was there any trailers this week? Of course there were.
Looks like a live-action Pokemon movie is on its way. The the project is currently undergoing a bidding war between Sony, Warner Brothers, and Legendary Pictures. So a Pokemon live action movie is on the way. Jake, as a former 1999 local Pokemon champion, how do you feel about a live action movie?
Really?
Buddy?
No.
Oh,
God, no. But I played.
Is there something I'm
no,
missing?
I played Pokemon growing up. I watched the
I mean,
movies.
who didn't? Cards.
I had all the VHS tapes. I had the cards. Like, this is
Dude,
such awesome
the
news.
original.
The
I
original
don't know if it was
movie.
the first one they ever made, but it was the first one that came to theaters.
The original
one
movie with Mewtwo and Mew. Yes.
Great.
Oh, amazing. So this is like, I'm a 24-year-old college student, and I'm getting excited for Pokemon right now.
Heck yeah.
I do not care. This
It's our
is like,
childhood, man.
This is like the greatest news of the week. And like whatever it can be based on, but I want to see Ash Ketchum back. I want to see him
Heck
bonding
yeah.
with Pokemon. I want to see Misty and Brock. I want to see
Pikachu.
Like, yes, you
You
gotta
have
have
to
Pikachu
do
in there. You gotta,
Pikachu.
and then
Gary.
you know, I would love to see a trilogy.
Professor Oak.
I would love to see a trilogy that follows the exact narrative of the first games.
Yeah.
Where he goes to Professor Oak, and then he ends up getting Pikachu. He fights Gary as his rival. He goes to all these gyms. I think it'd be so cool. Such great callback.
Well,
to
we
the
talked about
original.
this before. I think it could be similar to Hunger Games in a way.
Yeah.
Like the way they're battling each other in arenas and stuff.
It would be such a cool thing, and to see him go through the gym system and then go to do the Elite Eight and all that kind of stuff. Like, it just gets me so excited thinking about it because those games are so much fun. Like, if I had them now, I would continue playing them. Like, they're just that much
definitely.
fun.
I always had them on the Game Boy.
And I would love to see it. Like, I know there's all these kinds of different Pokemon now and whatnot, but I would love to see the original 150. What is it, 151?
Yeah.
151 back, just them.
Pikachu,
Mew,
Squirtle.
Mewtwo, Squirtle, Charmander, Bulbasaur, all those guys, and all the characters from the original TV shows, movies, everything. Hell, get Logan Lerman as Ash, man. Let's go.
Heck yeah. Yeah. It's not my favorite childhood property. We might talk about that in a little bit, but I mean, of course, other than Star Wars.
Yeah.
But Pokemon, man, who was not our age when at 12 years old, not infatuated with Pokemon cards. I remember collecting all the cards and trading with kids at school. I remember I was the only kid at my school that had the holographic Charizard card, and everyone kept trying to trade me for it. I always said they can do Pokemon, but they have to do it right. It cannot be cheesy. It has to be, obviously it's going to be young. It's going to be considered a young adult film, but do it in the vein of Hunger Games, in the vein of the first Maze Runner, and I think you can get it right. Don't make Pikachu so bright yellow. Maybe I consider it it's very different, but you can treat Pikachu kind of like E.T. in a way where it should be the first one we see, the first Pokemon that we see. When he finds, I don't know the whole backstory like you do, Jake, but I think they can go some very interesting routes with this. I'm totally excited. It's not official yet, but these studios are bidding for it. So obviously, if they bid for it and they get the rights, they're gonna put the film into development. So I couldn't be more excited.
We were talking about video game movies and for the past it seems like a decade or whatever. But people always saying, "Oh, make a Halo movie." Pokemon was around a decade before Halo.
The thing is, they're going to get us who grew up on Pokemon and the young kids right
Yeah.
now. And I just want to say shout out to my friend Marcus, who is Pokemon is his number one all-time favorite brand. And we talked so much about whether or not they would make a Pokemon movie, and he thinks they won't. So we actually have an ongoing bet. So it looks like I might win that bet. But yeah, shout out, man. You finally might get your Pokemon movie.
Gio, what do you think, man?
I mean, I'm obviously excited about this, man. Fucking going to Burger King and collecting the Pokeballs and the 24 karat gold things that weren't really gold, but whatever. Look, after Jungle Book, it's proven to me that the technology is there. They can do this. It won't be as photorealistic as the animals in there, but you think about a Rocket Raccoon and how they can do that as well. So I think the technology is definitely there. As far as Ash, I was thinking more like Jacob Tremblay when he's a few years older, but maybe not. I don't know. But,
I mean, it depends. This movie might not go into development for 5 years,
So I just had an epiphany, but you're saying making it the vein of Hunger Games, do that, But what if you combined?
It has to be a little lighter though.
But what if you combine the game style grid from Tron?
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
how they battle in that movie?
Definitely, yeah.
And
for
maybe
sure.
not as bright and, dance-like and whatnot, but that kind of like grid style, and maybe just follow the exact movies too, because they do it in the movies. They have like these really cool arenas.
They
And, like,
better be in an arena like
like
straight
with
up battling.
audience members and everything, just like the actual animated movies.
Heck
It'd be
yeah.
so much fun.
And I don't know. I mean, maybe not do Mewtwo in the first one, but you could. He's so
Well, you
powerful.
can introduce him kind of like
Yeah.
a Thanos thing.
Exactly,
Like,
because he's
just
the
like
most,
a Thanos.
Well, I don't know about now. I don't know any of the new Pokemon, but at the time, he was
He's the guy.
He's the most powerful mutant, or not mutant, Pokemon. Yeah.
Well, he's like a mutant. You know?
Yeah, in a way.
Pretty much. Yeah, all right, guys. Let's move on to Power Rangers. We got the first image of Elizabeth Banks as Rita Repulsa. Entertainment Weekly released the image, and well, the costume certainly looks different, doesn't it, Jacob? Why don't you take it away?
Oh, yeah. Speaking of, childhood memories and everything, I can't think of all the movies that are coming out next year, but Power Rangers is definitely going to be in my top 10 most anticipated. Other than Star Wars, it was my number one childhood thing that I watched. I really loved the casting of Elizabeth Banks. Everything around this, other than the fact that they're making a Power Rangers movie, is something positive to look forward to. The director, Dan Israelite, director of Project Almanac. I know Jake and I really liked that movie. Gio, you enjoyed it as well. I don't know any of the young actors, but I'm glad they're getting all unknowns. The writers of X-Men First Class and the original Thor, and then you cast Elizabeth Banks as Rita. And I was worried that we weren't going to see her face. And according to this image, we are going to see her face, which is amazing. I think she looks great.
With no eyebrows.
Yeah, I think she looks great because, the Rita from the original series and then the original movie looks horrible. Like,
She's kind of jokey, right?
yeah, she's very comedic and just like laughing like like a witch. Like, I'm sure we're gonna get something like that, but Elizabeth Banks is the perfect person to portray that in the modern day. My only reservation is that she looks so much like Poison Ivy. I wrote this up on the website. That was my one complaint. That as soon as I saw it, I thought Poison Ivy. And I feel like if they ever do, maybe not in this DC universe, but if they ever did a Poison Ivy, she would look very similar to that. They have to be aware of that, but I'm over the moon excited for her portrayal of this character. And I think it's definitely a positive, to the overall film.
Yeah, she looks cool. I mean, I don't know a lot about Power Rangers.
Exactly,
Like you do. You're
yeah.
kind of our residential Power Rangers expert, but
I'll gladly take that title.
yeah, and she looks cool. I mean, when you look at her, haven't seen anything from the movie yet, obviously, and we got the one cast photo of the young team members, but it's kind of a tell of what they're going to go with this direction of the movie, because it's a very gritty look, and it's kind of a very daring and brave look for her, because Power Rangers is always, in a way, thought of as a kids film or a kids franchise. This is a pretty brooding look for this kind of character compared to the original, at least.
Which excites me.
Yeah,
and changes
I
everything,
agree.
like your perception of the film.
I agree, and she looks awesome. I think Elizabeth Banks is great. I love her and everything she does. I'm very interested to see her as a villain. I hope they don't go jokey route. Maybe she'll have a little bit of joke to her because obviously the property, but it definitely excites me, and I'm very interested to see where they go with it. And who knows when we'll get some kind of footage, but I'm looking forward to her going up against these young team members. So.
Well, as far as the no eyebrows thing, if you notice, her forehead looks a little weird. Like
Okay.
it has like different structure on the forehead. She's actually an alien. She's
Oh,
not
okay.
human.
I don't know. Okay.
So
Interesting.
that goes on to explain like why she looks very
Yeah.
weird and different in the face.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Elizabeth Banks playing Rita. A lot of people are like, oh no, the costume doesn't look alike. What the fuck do you guys expect? Like, this is a modern version of the character. It's an adaptation.
I would be pissed if it looked like Rita from the series, and I'm the
Yeah.
biggest Power Rangers fan you'll find around.
Everyone's like, keep the hair. Like, I don't want to keep that hair. That doesn't belong in this world, man. It's like 1990. Okay. But I'm very much looking forward to it. This first photo gives me a lot more, enthusiasm, energy about the movie, and I can't wait to see what the Power Ranger uniforms look like. That's next. But as for a first one, I thought this one looks great. All right, let's move on to rapid fire. Let's rapid fire through these ones, guys. Some small updates. Well, I guess small updates on some big blockbusters coming out, some big movies. First one, spoiler alert. Looks like Iron Man makes it out of Captain America: Civil War. Both Variety and The Hollywood Reporter are confirming that Robert Downey Jr. will appear in Spider-Man: Homecoming. Jake, what will his role be in this movie?
He's going to be Spider-Man's mentor. We kind of expected this was going to happen. It's not very surprising to me at all. I love that he's going to be in there. If it, in fact, become confirmed by Marvel and Sony, which I don't know if it has yet. But, yeah, it's cool. I mean, they have some great interactions in the comics. And from what we know, he brings Spider-Man into the fight in Civil War. And we kind of expect him to give Spider-Man his suit that he has. And so it looks like he'll kind of be a mentor to Spidey. And I'm interested to see in the solo movie if at some point, there's a conflict between the two, because that'd be really cool between the two. And whether or not Tony maybe realizes something or Peter Parker realizes something. But it's going to be cool. We've been talking about who's going to show up in the Spider-Man movie. I know Jacob at one point thought Doctor Strange maybe. But Iron Man fits, and,
Definitely.
His Marvel contract is coming to a close. But remember, this is Sony. Marvel's producing. Sony's involved with the contract in this movie, and so
Very true.
It's some cool stuff. And one more time, RDJ in the suit. I'm down.
Heck yeah. This is no surprise. We knew that if a character from the ongoing MCU was going to be in this film, it was most likely going to be Iron Man. And we see, even, it's not a spoiler, in the trailer, the last trailer that they put out, he calls on Spider-Man under rules and, wrap up Captain America's hands. So it's no surprise. Yeah, I don't think he's going to have a huge role, but I think very small. And, yeah, sort of a mentor type role into the superhero world. I'm wondering if in Spidey's new suit, if he can communicate, and talk to someone. Maybe Iron Man will be in his ear, giving him advice and stuff. So, yeah, totally excited. Not surprised at all, though.
All right, from Marvel to DC, The Hollywood Reporter broke news that Willem Dafoe has joined Justice League Part 1 as, quote, a good guy. Does this make you guys more excited for a Zack Snyder-directed Justice League Part 1?
It doesn't change that Zack Snyder is directing it at all. Why would that change it? Anyways, I really like Batman v Superman. I don't have to say that again. I still don't want Zack Snyder directing Justice League. I want some fresh blood on this ongoing DC universe. But yes, Willem Dafoe's a great actor. I don't believe that he's playing a good guy, though. I think they're fooling us. He's going to be a bad guy.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, he's a great guy. I loved him in John Wick. I loved him in the Spider-Man movies. It doesn't change my feelings towards Zack Snyder and Justice League, but whether or not he's a good guy or bad guy, cool. I mean, seeing him in there is going to be cool because he hasn't been a huge part of movies lately. He's kind of had a back seat in a lot of roles, and I just watched one of his movies a few weeks ago called The Hunter, and it's a smaller movie, but I watched it on Netflix. Really good movie. He's the lead in it, but yeah, it's cool. I'm interested to see who's playing now.
Maybe Harvey Bullock. We'll see. Let's move on. Let me see if I get his name. Bayona has signed on to direct Jurassic World 2. Producer Frank Marshall took to his Twitter and formally announced the director will be Bayona.
I think it's J.A.
I think it's
Bayona.
J.A., yeah.
It's
initials?
Yeah.
Well, I say it's John. Okay.
But you know what's funny? I actually, when I didn't really look at, when I first saw that, I thought it said John Boyega. I don't know why. I was like, John Boyega's directing Jurassic World 2? That's a weird jump.
What do you guys think about this? He did The Impossible. That was pretty
I
good.
have not seen any of his films.
Oh man, The Impossible.
But I hear he has a very dark and gritty style. And I'm actually looking to his film called The Monster Calls. It sounds very interesting. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see fresh blood on this franchise. Even though Colin Trevorrow only directed one, I would like to see a different style in this franchise. So yeah, I mean, I have nothing to complain about.
The Impossible is. I remember watching it in theaters and kind of walking out horrified because of how horrific and sad it is. And funny story, Spider-Man's in the movie. Tom Holland. That's where he kind of got his start.
Yeah,
and Naomi Watts, Ewan McGregor.
Oh, right.
It's a fantastic movie. He does have a very specific tone, and it would fit a Jurassic World sequel really well. And I hope they go some kind of route where it's darker, like maybe the dinosaurs get off the island and hell breaks loose on there. Something like a Mad Max style Jurassic World. That'd be awesome. But
Wow.
no, I love the choice. He's very unknown, and as of late, unknown directors have had a very good track record with bigger movies and just movies in general, and because they're not in the mainstream. But it's a great choice. So.
All right, well, let's end us off with our Showdown Sunday recap. Every Sunday, I put 2 movie-related forces together: actors, directors, characters, movies. And I leave it to a poll for you guys to decide which one's the better, which one's the worst, so on and so forth. This week I chose Jon Favreau, and because of his Jungle Book release and the amount of praise that's getting, some are saying it's his best work. But then you think about Iron Man 2008, him, Robert Downey Jr., Marvel's first movie that kicked off the universe. Considering the success of Jungle Book and the significance of Iron Man, which one would you say is Jon Favreau's best work?
Man, this is the hardest Showdown Sunday you've ever done. For me, because
that's how I like it.
Iron Man kicked off the MCU, and that's my life right now. But Jungle Book is such a fascinating film. Jungle Book is my second favorite film of the year so far, right under Deadpool. It might be better than Deadpool, but for me, I enjoy Deadpool more. I have to go with Iron Man, though. It kicked off the MCU, and I don't know where I would be in my life as a film fan if it wasn't for the MCU, so I got to go with the Iron Man.
Jake?
Iron Man, easy. Jungle Book is awesome, but like you said, Iron Man kicked off the MCU.
Exactly.
They gave us Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Gave us Nick Fury with Samuel L. Jackson. It started off this whole craze of comic books and cinematic universes, and I feel
like he doesn't get enough credit for.
He is, and I love
pulling
that
movie
just came
off
out this week. I love that they're bringing him back on to executive producing.
Heck yeah, heck yeah.
And I don't even think Iron Man is my favorite film of his. I like Chef a lot, but he is such a great director, producer, and great as his butler buddy Happy. And I'd love to see him come back at some point. But that would be
awesome.
Iron Man also brought us Obadiah Stane. Hello.
Yeah.
No, I actually like that character. But, for me, it's Iron Man. Look, Jungle Book has spectacular visual effects. And Neil Sethi, his performance wasn't perfect, but still, acting by himself, Favreau.
And that's a lot on Jon Favreau,
actor's
getting
director.
him, bring that out of him.
Yeah, so, it's Iron Man, guys. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Where the hell have you been? That's it.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up Apocaflix movie news. I want to thank Gio Ramos for gathering the movie notes and running us through it. Let them know where they can find you on the web.
Another week done. At Gio Ramos 24 on Twitter and apocaflixmovies.com. Check out Rumor Central. Lots of good stuff going on.
And Jake Brilliant, 1999 Pokemon champion. Where can they find you online?
Twitter, Instagram at Qui-Gon Jake. Check out the Padawan podcast, our new Make 'em Watch It show, and apocaflixmovies.com every day.
And you can find me, Jacob Bartley, on Twitter at JacobBartley_ on this Apocaflix Movies YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, comment. We really, really appreciate it. And thank you. Till next time, you take care.